You think you know what made the ancient philosophers different from everyone else. You think it was their intelligence, their education, or their privileged positions in society. But you would be wrong about all of that. There was something else entirely, something so simple, yet so powerful, that it became the foundation upon which entire civilizations were built. Every great philosopher from Marcus Aurelius to Confucius lived by this one golden rule, and it changed everything about how they saw the world. Picture this. It's 161 AD, and Marcus Aurelius has just become the most powerful man in the world. As emperor of Rome, he could have anything he wanted, do anything he pleased, command anyone to do his bidding. Yet every morning, before making decisions that would affect millions of lives, he would sit in silence and remind himself of one simple principle. This wasn't just philosophical theory to him. This was survival. The rule was so radical for its time that it threatened the very foundations of how society operated. In a world built on hierarchies where slaves were property and emperors were gods, this principle suggested something revolutionary. It suggested that every human being, regardless of their status, deserved the same consideration you would want for yourself. But here's what's fascinating. This wasn't just Marcus Aurelius. 500 years earlier, Confucius was teaching the exact same principle in ancient China. He called it reciprocity, and he believed it was the single thread that could hold society together. When his students asked him if there was one word that could guide their entire lives, he answered without hesitation. That word was shu, which means treating others as you would want to be treated. What did these ancient minds understand that we seem to have forgotten? They realized that this golden rule wasn't just about being nice to people. It was about something much deeper, much more practical, and infinitely more powerful. Think about your daily interactions for a moment. How often do you find yourself frustrated with others, angry at their behavior, disappointed by their choices? Now imagine if you approached every single interaction with this question: how would I want to be treated in this exact situation? The ancient philosophers discovered that this single question could transform not just relationships, but entire empires. Aristotle took this concept even further. In his Nicomachean Ethics, he argued that treating others as you wish to be treated wasn't just a moral obligation, it was the key to human flourishing. He called it the foundation of justice itself. But Aristotle understood something crucial that many people miss today. He knew that before you could treat others well, you had to understand what it truly meant to treat yourself well. This is where the golden rule becomes dangerous to your old way of thinking. Because if you're honest about how you want to be treated, you want to be treated with respect, understanding, patience, and forgiveness. You want people to see your struggles and give you the benefit of the doubt. You want them to recognize your efforts even when you fall short. But here's the twist that changes everything. The ancient philosophers realized that most people don't actually treat themselves this way. They're harsh critics of their own mistakes, impatient with their own learning process, unforgiving of their own human flaws. So when they try to apply the golden rule, they end up treating others with the same harsh judgment they use on themselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that the first step to treating others with wisdom was learning to treat yourself with wisdom. He would remind himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wasn't just self-help advice. This was the Emperor of Rome teaching himself how to extend genuine compassion to others by first understanding what genuine compassion looked like. The ancient Stoics had a specific practice for this. Every evening they would review their day and ask themselves, "Did I treat others today as I would want to be treated if I were in their position?" But they didn't stop there. They would also ask, "Did I treat myself today with the same kindness I would offer a good friend facing similar challenges?" This dual application of the Golden Rule created something unprecedented in the ancient world. It created leaders who could make difficult decisions with both strength and compassion, philosophers who could teach hard truths with gentleness, and ordinary people who could navigate conflict with wisdom instead of reactivity. Here's what this means for your life right now. Every person you encounter today is fighting battles you know nothing about, carrying burdens you can't see, and doing their best with the resources and understanding they currently have. The Golden Rule asks you to remember that you would want patience, kindness, and understanding if you were in their position. But it also asks you something harder. It asks you to give yourself that same patience, kindness, and understanding. Because the ancient philosophers understood that you cannot give what you do not have, and you cannot authentically offer to others what you consistently deny yourself. The Golden Rule that built empires and transformed civilizations wasn't complicated. It was simply this: treat others as you would want to be treated, and treat yourself as you would treat someone you genuinely care about. When you master both sides of this ancient wisdom, you discover what every great philosopher knew, that this simple rule doesn't just change how others see you. It changes how you see yourself, and that changes everything.